So I have a dumb question for you.
Go.
Yes, sir.
So I was thinking, when I was a kid, my favorite dwarf was Mini-Me. And I think as I got
Dwarf?
yeah.
Dwarf?
Oh my God.
Mini-Me. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like from Austin Powers.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I think there's recently been a change that Peter Dinklage is probably most
Peter
people...
Dinklage is
Oh,
the
yeah.
dwarf.
So, like, when do you think that happened? Like, when do you fully think that, like, he became the, like, most famous one?
Okay, so I know exactly when it happened too. It was like one of the first episodes of Game of Thrones. Because he was also in a couple of other movies. He was in this one movie with Natalie Portman, I think. It was like this
Not
really weird kind of comedy movie that was whatever. I think that was like in the middle of other things though. But he became the dwarf when he, as Tyrion, went up with Jon Snow. They were at the Night's Watch station, or Jon was about to leave for the Night's Watch, or somewhere around that point. I don't remember exactly. But then he told Jon Snow that, like, you know, I've always been a dwarf and that's my weakness. And so I turned it into an advantage.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he was just like the spokesperson for dwarves at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And then he also told Jon Snow, like, hey, you're a bastard, but use that to your advantage. Like, don't let it be your weakness or whatever. And I was like, wow, this man is like one of the greatest actors. Like, they couldn't have picked a better actor for that role. It was just so great. That's when he became the dwarf.
What about
Or not the dwarf. Is that what it's?
That's like the...
Oh, okay.
Like the culturally acceptable
I
way
guess
to
like the
say it.
PC way?
Okay.
Like it's
kind of say
dwarfism.
it,
Like that's
Whatever.
Like
Peter Dinklage is the man. And then he just like kept getting better and better as time went on. Like his character became like more important. He had like way better and more important things. He was always like the wise one, and he was like slinging dick like it was nobody's business. And then he was on like, what was it, the Anchorman podcast or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and guy's hilarious.
Yeah,
Guy's
'cause-
like a comedian. He's like a fantastic actor. He has like the most like amazing voice too. It's crazy that he's like
carries, it
American
really
too,
carries,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the what's the guy who played Willow, and like he always played in like the Star Wars movies as well. He played like a little Ewok. He played as the Leprechaun. I can't like the Leprechaun series.
Okay, boomer.
Do you know like who I'm talking about?
I have
like,
no idea.
He's very iconic. Like he was in the Star Wars movies and everything too.
I know who you're talking about,
Yeah.
but
I can't remember.
I don't
his name,
think
but- you don't
they
think-
were ever the dwarf.
I don't know. Like that's like I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember like
Heavy,
most of
heavy
my life,
praise
like
for
it
him.
was always Mini-Me, and then I was like
Yeah,
thinking
even
about
for
it
me,
recently.
it was like Mini-Me a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it.
Oh, he's looking it up.
I was gonna look it up,
Oh.
but I was like, whatever. it's much
Anyways.
So what are we doing here?
Welcome to another episode of Hotline Hangout. Did that echo?
better. Yeah.
Oh, wow, I couldn't hear it. Should I start over? No. My name is Shane, and I'm joined today by my fellow co-host, Stephen Murphy.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Steven.
Oh, I say his last name.
And the crowd went mild.
Little round of applause. We're also joined by another co-host, Jimmy James. Oh,
Louder.
God, mine wild.
We found,
Absolute mad lad. Anyways, wow, that was a long intro. But
they deserve it.
oh, quick story before we get started. And this might ruin like every movie that you see moving forward. But Apple won't let bad guys use iPhones in movies. So like if you see somebody holding an iPhone in a movie and you think, "Oh, that's a bad guy." It's not them.
Also,
They won't let them. Yeah.
That's funny. So subconsciously, if you go into a movie and you actually see someone carrying like an iPhone, you're like, okay, you know his intentions.
What
Yeah.
happens if Android just says like all the other phone companies like this says no, you can't use our phone.
Is this like
They'd have to think. They'd have to do
spoiling
something.
Movies?
Yeah, it does. The reason why this became like a news issue is
Yeah.
because they were screening this movie called Knives Out,
Okay.
and the director like whispered to like a reporter or somebody
Mm-hmm.
in there that like, yeah, you know, like this scene was hard. We had to reshoot it because of the we had the bad guy holding an iPhone and we can't do that. And then so it immediately ruined the entire movie for that person that was screening it because I forget who it was. the woman in the movie was holding an iPhone, and so like instantly you know that she wasn't the bad guy. But like up to that point, the movie had led them to believe that she was the bad guy. But yeah, I kind of thought about that too, and then in this article it like mentions like how like in movies, Coke or Pepsi or whatever, like they won't let you like crumple up a can and throw it in the trash. Like you can never be seen like disposing of or like doing normal things that you do with products.
So they're very particular with their product placements. Then it's basically what they're trying to get at.
Oh yeah, like but like you never really think of like all the rules or whatever, right? Like I don't know. I imagine like Heineken. Like how many times have you seen a Heineken bottle in a movie, and it's always somebody having like a refreshing sip of like a beer or something, but you never see like somebody smash a Heineken bottle over somebody's head or something.
It reminds me of like Wayne's World when he's doing all those like product placements.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, my head. He's like, here, have one of these aspirins.
That was like the best one.
And then he's like wearing like all Reebok and everything. Yeah.
I think my favorite part about Wayne's World was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And like how like David Bowie was like, yes.
Yeah.
Wait. Did David Bowie like personally approve it, or was he already dead?
David Bowie.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, he had nothing to do with Bohemian Rhapsody. David Bowie would
Or
be
no,
under
Freddie
pressure.
Mercury.
It'd be
Freddie Mercury.
yeah.
Never mind. Got my Freddie Mercury and David Bowie mixed up.
Got my boomers mixed up.
Oh, they're not boomers. They're the best.
But yeah. So it would be, well, because they would probably get the okay from Queen. But yeah, I think he
Oh,
was.
they
already
definitely
long-
got the okay.
Yeah, so he was long past by then, I believe, before Wayne's World.
I feel like he had like a more personal role. Anyways, quick thought there.
Food for thought.
James, do you want to count us in?
Number 5.
Hey, good job, buddy.
Number 1.
You son
Oh
of a-
fuck. Here you go again. Steve, this was your story.
Yeah. Yes, it was. The many tabs. So, as probably a lot of people already know, we're just going to go ahead and actually talk into the case of Harvey Weinstein and just like his whole, I can't even call it allegations anymore. He's been 100%
Criminally charged.
with 2 accounts. I think they bumped it down to 3rd degree. I think they removed the
One was first
accorded
degree, one was
degree. Yeah.
third.
But
First
he's
and
still
third.
but he's still in charge for 2 accounts, I believe. And that would be for the Jessica Mann and his I guess his assistant or something like that, or whatever her name is. Does it say right there? Yeah.
Mimi Haley
Mimi
and
Haley
Jessica Mann.
Mann, yeah. So those are 2 accounts. So basically, from the actual charge right now, he's facing a minimum of 5 years up to a total of 25 years. But the charge hearing will be in March 11th, I do believe they said. But have you guys been following like that case at all?
I haven't like been following because like the way that news goes at the moment, I'm kind of just like, all right, all of these things that are happening are taking like a really long time. So like, let me know when it's done, and then I'll like go back and look at everything.
Yeah.
So it's like pretty much the same with everything, like politics and this and that and whatever. I'm just kind of like wait until the end. But
Just to wait.
Just
and see
feels
what
like
happens.
5 years ago this happened to me. Like
it was like
Yeah.
it was 2017, so like,
Yeah,
it's
like,
quite a
it was a
while.
little
like
while
it
ago.
just feels like it was forever ago. Like
Yeah.
it's like I know it was sad during the time. Like I found it interesting, but 3-4 years later, I'm just like,
Just no longer
whatever. Like
I think the only reason we care so much too is because like Harvey Weinstein was like the first one, and he like broke the news, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it was bolstered by like 5,000 other stories, and then just for him himself, there was like 20 or 50 or
X amount.
however
Yeah.
many other people that also accused him of this.
Well, because like this was like the epitome of like the Me Too movement and everything too.
Well, this was the
Yeah,
the
and then like it
catalyst
kinda,
for the Me Too movement.
It's the same concept too with like Bill Cosby and everything as well, where he was getting these allegations and everyone kind of jumped in on him. Like I don't want to say like
Well, yeah, but-
bandwagon, but like there was like 50 cases that all popped up after one person.
For
Kinda
Bill
spoke up.
Cosby, though, right? Like Bill
Yeah.
Cosby happened, and then there was a huge space where we didn't hear anything about
Yeah.
it, right? But then, like with Weinstein here, it was like, we heard about him, and then there was like Aziz Ansari, Louis C.K.,
Oh, yeah.
and like those guys, I don't think were like the worst or whatever.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like the 2 that come to mind, actually, because I think that they just admitted to being
Yeah.
gross and weird, and then like kind of moved on with it.
Yeah.
But then
Well, Louis C.K. built like a whole like comedy bit about like him being weird and like
Yeah.
just not even so much of like a sexual deviant. It was just like him just being himself, basically.
Yeah.
Like, disgusting, but that's just
like-
his humor.
well, like I forget who the other people were, but there was like every day there was like somebody new, like Kevin Spacey and this and that
Kevin
and
Spacey's,
da. And like, so it all started with Weinstein and then kind of grew from there and snowballed, but he was like the base of that snowball. And so like, you know, you see him, he also seems to be like the worst one out of everybody. Cause like, I think he like was accused of, you know, sexual deviancy by like at least like 50 people, I think was the accusations.
Oh yeah, like every major like actress in like Hollywood said they had an encounter of some sort or some sort of story.
Some weird
It's just
story.
because like he was like in charge, like he was like the actual CEO of whatever, of like, you know, who gets what job and if they can get a job in like Hollywood, and like he had that authority and that power. So you want to be rolled, you know, let me see you naked, let me touch you, etc., etc., coming from there. Whoops, I smacked the cable. But yeah, and like he just has like that power, which nobody dared to kind of say no to him. Other than that, like you don't, you know, do you want a career or not? And that's what it kind of came down to, unfortunately. And so they felt obligated to kind of give him what he wanted at that point.
You guys see the like the videos or whatever. The only thing that I really have focused on or like seen lately is like, you know, him walking up the stairs using like a fucking umbrella as like a cane or something, and like nobody's helping him, and he's just like slouched. He looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah,
like
how he's trying to look
like what the hell?
Look all
come
decrepit.
on, guy.
And like, yeah, like he's putting on like this facade of just like looking like all, I don't know, decrepit and just like trying to act as like as brutal as he is.
Oh my
It's
god,
the same thing Bill Cosby did as well. Like right at the last bit of trial,
well,
just for like the sympathy vote.
Bill Cosby's like 90 years old and blind and deaf. Like I didn't whatever. I don't care about Bill Cosby. Whatever. Harvey Weinstein. That
was he 67? I think they said.
Yeah, like 65, 67. Like, come on, like. Stand up straight and take responsibility for yourself, you fucking idiot.
Well,
man.
Even after the hearing, I wasn't sure if you're aware of that or not. Like, he was complaining of chest pains, and he got like submitted to like the emerge and stuff like that, so he didn't have to go straight to like jail. And
well, because they told him they wanted him under custody until the hearing on the 11th.
Yeah, and
so he doesn't flee the country.
Yeah, so he was like, "Oh, I'm having chest pains and everything too." So they rushed him to the hospital. I'm not sure if he's still checking in there or whatnot, but I don't know. I wonder if it's going to be one of like the whole Epstein case all over again.
Yeah, like if you do something like as wrong as that, and you know you've come to justice now, you're getting your justice, and there are facts, and they prove like you know in your head that you know you're not getting out of it. And you did these things, and they've proved them now.
Well, that's
beyond a reasonable doubt. Like just deal with it.
Well, that's like the hardest thing to kind of even like dictate and figure out too, just because like sure it's a minimum of 5 years, but like. Who's to say he can get like, you know, maybe a year and then the rest of like serve at home or something like that, you know?
Well, no, I'm talking about just like his like whole like body language thing, his whole like thing. I'm just like, you know, just take it like you're guilty.
No,
just
sure.
admit to your guilt, accept it. It's part of you now, and you know, do the best with what you have now, right? Like, you know, you don't you're not like a good person to say, let's say if you're doing this kind of stuff, but you know, at some point you need to kind of realize like, I really screwed up here, and then just take responsibility for yourself.
No, that would be a nice thought,
but instead he's like, you know what, I'm going to put on an act because I'm such a narcissist. I need people to feel bad for me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But that guy's gross. You know what? 5 years, not enough. Another interesting thing about this case is that it was like one of the like rape doesn't usually get like end in convictions, but if you do it to enough people, it results in convictions. Apparently, it's kind of ridiculous because like it is. I get why it's hard because like you have to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and like a lot of people don't have that. A lot of rape cases, like nobody fills out a rape kit properly, or this happens or that happens, or it happened a month ago and they didn't want the people to get in trouble.
Yeah, because
whatever.
Even when it comes down to like, let's say like rape cases and like sexual assaults, like the main thing here is like statute of limitation, and I don't want to say like he lucked out, but like he chose, was it New York, I guess, where they kind of freeze the statute of limitations once you're kind of out of the state. Or something like that happens, so they actually kind of postpone and hold it. So once you come back, they'll go back to trial for it. So that's kind of where he's getting charged from, is like the state of New York now. And
interesting.
So,
yeah. Well, you know, it's hard to say because like I feel like you hear a lot of stories too about like sexual assaults that are just like fake and that didn't actually happen, and like good people get in trouble for them.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I'm sure there are way, way, way more sexual assault cases that just go unreported
Oh, yeah, for
completely.
sure.
And then the amount of time and effort and energy that goes into like bringing those people to justice
Yeah.
just generally doesn't seem worth it
Oh, yeah,
to people.
definitely.
But hopefully this sets some sort of example or precedent.
March 11th, we'll actually know a response from it, see where it goes.
Oh yeah, we'll see.
So
It's
stay
gonna be
tuned.
like the minimum watch.
Well, minimum still 5 years, but I don't
That's
know.
yeah, but like
He has more
get
than-
off on good behavior
Yeah,
and
yeah,
is the
and-
parole and whatever, blah blah blah.
And if he's that ill or sick, if you get like some sort of doctor's notice or something like that,
He gets a doctor's note for prison. All of us plebs, we get a doctor's note to come in late to work, but Harvey Weinstein, convicted rapist, gets the doctor's note to not go to prison.
money talks, man.
Oh,
This
man.
guy's like filthy rich, so whatever.
yeah.
We'll have to see where it goes.
That's
with
why I
it.
always wondered, and like I've never really looked into it. I'm sure it'd be easy to find, but what happens to your money when you go to jail? Like, let's say if I'm like
I'm pretty sure it freezes.
freezes, you get to earn interest on it at least. Like you getting paid in there. Or?
Honestly, yeah, I have no idea. That's something I never really thought
I
of.
think you can like defer it to someone too, or
Well,
Yeah.
depending on if there's any like type of like if it's like
Does the government
a
just take your
lo-
money? Like if
No,
they
not-
take you,
not
then do
everything.
they get to take your money too?
I think if there's like some sort of like charge or lawsuit or bail or something like that, like they will take that portion, but essentially it still belongs to you. You might have to have like some sort of like power of attorney prior to it, especially the location,
Yeah,
know,
maybe-
the
maybe your
position that
attorney.
he's in. Yeah, because
Weird. Oh yeah, maybe it'd be your lawyer.
Yeah, because I'm assuming that obviously he has more than enough people to kind of.
All right,
walk
next
his
story.
ways. All right, what number?
2.
Oh shit,
You son of a bitch. Number 4.
I hate James. Oh. All right, this one.
Oh, this one I'm looking forward
Ooh.
to.
Yeah.
Ooh, child.
Ooh boy. Okay. Oh man, I don't even like the headline. So we're talking about the Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury fight, and
Round 2.
Deontay Wilder has seemingly been like running his mouth ever since he left that fight with his like
Yeah.
very definitive loss in my eyes.
Oh my god, yeah, definitely.
But Deontay Wilder blames 40-pound pre-bout costume for Tyson Fury defeat. And as students, you've been to school, you're in school. As a former university student, now graduate, fuck that. 40 pounds? Bro, I carry around like a backpack that has like 25 textbooks in it to go to class every day, weighs
Yeah.
way more than 40 pounds. And like, then I go to the gym after. Like, yeah, sure, I'm not getting my ass kicked by Tyson Fury, but 40 pounds on like this guy is jacked.
Yeah.
Like 40 pounds, like you might as well put like, a couple of quarters on his shoulder and call it a day.
Well, yeah,
40
because like
pounds, that's nothing.
Wilder's he's an athlete, but like the thing I made
guy
comment
is
too. I
jacked.
was like, look at his legs. Like you definitely tell like he was like skipping like leg day and stuff like that. But that was like one of the main issues I had here is after the fact that he was blaming, I shouldn't have wore this like showboating. I shouldn't have wore this like heavy equipment on it. And like I love the idea of how he's saying like he's a warrior, but he can't carry his own like armor to battle.
40 pounds.
Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, what the hell?
But-
So many professions rely on carrying more than 40 pounds of equipment, like firefighters, astronauts. No.
But yeah, like the thing that kind of like really pissed me off was that during the post-fight interview, like he was great. He was great about it. He's like, you know what, the better man won. Sometimes like we get these decisions. Sometimes it's just not our day. Like that was 100% fine. He should have left it at that. And then he started looking at excuses.
I completely disagree. He's in the right because boxing, part of it is making as most money as you possibly can if you're in a combat sport.
Okay.
And saying that I lost for X reason to make the next fight, his rematch, more entertaining is way better than saying like, oh, the best man won. He was better than me.
Well,
Like,
I get that.
Well, that's what he said.
But still
basically, right after
bullshit.
the fight. But
yeah, but then it's like being like the next day if he didn't say anything, then he's already agreeing. But then if he's saying like now he's like, oh,
Yeah.
I lost because of this,
and
so I have a chance to believe he could
yeah.
win.
Well, because also too, what he was stating as well is like he was talking about like there's a conspiracy theory with his trainer of why they threw in the towel as well, and like he's just trying to build like this like concept idea that he was wrong to throw in the towel, and like when he fights, he wants to fight to the death. But ideally, like everyone said, is like those trainers there are to protect their fighter, and like his ear was busted up. I wasn't sure if it was like
Oh, man, so
affecting
much.
his like eardrum and like his equilibrium, like the way that he was wobbling.
Even before his ear got busted up, though, like you saw it. I was waiting for him to get knocked
Oh,
out.
yeah. Well,
Like
did
he
fall
was
twice.
fumbling and
by
falling
like the
everywhere.
second round, it was like
Yeah, it was just like it was like pure nonsense. Hey, you know what was funny though? I'll mention this here. So in this article, he kept saying like, I didn't have no legs, and I was like bluffing
yeah.
and blah blah. He's talking about how like he didn't have his legs because like
Yeah.
the 40 pounds of costume, which he said also, which was kind of interesting. It was a tribute to Black History Month, which is like really cool. That his costume was wild, by the way.
Yeah.
Like it was the best
Reminded me of,
costume.
like, Predator when he was like
It was
coming out.
that was so cool. But anyways, yeah. What I think was kind of funny is like in the pregame like videos and stuff that we were seeing of everybody. It was hilarious because you had Fury just in the background like jumping around, smacking his ass, and
yeah.
like just goofing off and like doing nothing. He looked like a bum. He was wearing like a t-shirt and whatever, just not doing anything. And you got Wilder in the other room, like stretching and being all serious and stuff. And then they all come out, and he's like the Gypsy King thing,
Yeah.
like how he had the cart and the women carrying and
like
stuff.
his little
It was
throne.
just like this complete like razzle dazzle show of like just pure excess.
Yeah.
And then he gets onto the stage and whatever. He's just goofing off for like the whole hour and a half before the fight, and then Wilder's just like serious and like doing all these workouts and exercises and stretches, and like every time you see him, he's business, right?
Yeah.
And like almost immediately, like I think he got like one punch in on Tyson, and then like after that, it was just done.
Yeah.
And you heard did you guys listen to the Joe Rogan highlight reel
What
about
was
it?
he saying?
He's basically saying that Tyson kind of figured out Wilder's like approach and like how he hits with like reach and power.
Yeah.
And so like Tyson was just like all over the place moving around, but he just stayed close. That's why you saw so much like clenching and stuff.
Yeah.
But then like, oh man, I think that's where Tyson got a lot of his advantage from actually was the clenching. Cause like he hit him like 5-10 times in the head, every clinch or something, like not every time, but he got a lot of hits in from that clenching.
For sure. Well, cause like Tyson or is it Wilder, like he fights from a distance because like he's like so intimidated with that one right hand shot that he has.
Yeah, but it's always the same.
But yeah, that's exactly it. Like once again, Tyson came in this from like when he was like 4 years old. Like he was training in boxing and like learning the techniques and how to fight versus as someone like Wilder who just kind of came in their mid-20s. Like sure, he knows how to fight and everything too, but he's heavily reliant on that, power striking. You eliminate that from the picture if you kind of get into like his square where he can't throw that hit. Like sure, he's still gonna hit you, it's still gonna hurt, but it's not gonna be knockout power. Especially too with like Tyson Fury, he's sitting at like 6'9",
6'7",
and no 6'9".
Fury's taller.
Yeah, he's 6'9".
Oh, I thought
No,
Wilder's
6'9".
6'7" then.
And then Wilder's smaller. And then after also too, he gained like additional 19 pounds for the fight. I think he was like clocking in at like 273 or so as well.
Oh my god!
And so you have that plus like every time he clinches up, he's literally just laying on you. So you're carrying his additional body weight as well. That's gonna make you, Wilder a lot more fatigue as well.
It's crazy. Like I'm not usually like a boxing fan. Actually, like the last time I watched boxing, I was like bored out of my mind. But this was like this was way closer to a UFC fight than boxing. Especially like given the hype, it was totally worth it. Like I wasn't disappointed at all. Another funny thing here I'm noticing in the article here is that while it almost seems like the Wilder is like blaming this on Black History Month. He's like, this was a Black History Month tribute. I wanted it to be a good tribute, and I guess I put that before anything. Like, dude, guy got his ass kicked in the ring, and he's blaming it on Black History Month. Oh my god!
Like complaint from everything.
This
like,
guy.
just take the loss, man. Take the L.
I'll be looking forward to the next fight.
Yeah. So I guess within contract, he has up to 30 days to kind of rebut that.
I thought he already accepted. I thought he already exercised the clause.
I don't know if he did or not. Like,
he better,
because like I don't know. Like to me, it won't be interesting at all. Like, what would you say, James?
I like money.
Are you gonna bet?
Bet money.
What do you think what are the odds for round 3?
Honestly, it's non-existent. Like
I think it's like 90%.
Oh my
for
god!
Wilder
To like to have a third fight or for him to win?
To like for Wilder to win, I guess.
Oh, it's like 30.
Well, yeah, because
30 to 40.
His pride is too big to kind of let it go, and obviously the money's still going to be there, so it's going to be easy, quick payday as well, regardless of not. But they'll just tell you straight up that you're going to lose again because
I think it's a lot easier to lose and then be motivated to win again because like
Well, yeah,
both-
motivation is one thing.
Yeah.
Other
like
than,
both of them were undefeated. Like
Yeah.
so like
no,
think
they're
about-
not.
Before the fight they were both
Well,
undefeated.
yeah, they were.
So like I don't know, like the fact that
Fury
you get
still
like your
is.
first loss against someone, that would motivate Wilder a lot more than what Fury. Fury that's gonna feel like, oh, I won,
Yeah.
I think Fury wants to get knocked out, to be honest. Like I think that's what he's like. He's looking for somebody who can knock him out.
That's what he was saying.
That's
He was
like the
you gotta
heaviest
bring
weight class too, right? Like there's nothing like
heavyweights.
above him.
No. This is heavyweights.
So Fury gained weight to go into that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like looking. He's like, yeah, I'll gain 20 pounds. Like whatever. Like sure, somebody please knock me out.
Yeah.
Like I think he's really looking for that. It's kind of like. It's kind of like in Dragon Ball when
God.
when everybody's like flying around trying to find like the most fierce opponent so that they could get knocked out.
Goku.
Never happens. It's always Goku. He's the fiercest one. He's not looking for anybody. He just wants his family to be safe. But yeah, it was a good fight though.
Yeah.
I'd be excited to see a
Thoroughly
third
enjoyed.
round because like as much as like I'd like to see like Wilder the underdog come up and like knock Fury out. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I don't even know if Fury would accept a third fight because like I think he in his mind at this point probably knows like definitively like that wasn't even a challenge for him. He was just batting him around the whole fight. Like I wasn't as much interested as like about who would win after like the first couple of rounds. I was like, all right, Fury's gonna win, but how's he gonna do it? And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but actually you might have even pointed out to me. It wasn't the ref who called the TKO. It was the team that threw in the towel.
Threw the towel in. Yeah.
Which like while we were watching that, I was like, "Oh, that's BS."
Yeah, 'cause
like
I
I
thought the
was
ref
like,
jumped
"Yeah, I
in.
thought the ref jumped
And
in."
because he was getting worked up in the corner and everything as
Yeah.
well, and I was like, because the way the camera's panel, like you couldn't see what was
Yeah,
happening
yeah,
behind them, and that's the reason why I was like, wow, did the ref just
Like the
literally
ref
call
saw
in?
it and then like broke him apart and
Yeah.
like whatever. But like honestly, it doesn't matter if
Yeah.
the ref would have called it. It was a good time to call
yeah,
it. But
yeah,
I was
yeah.
waiting for a knockout.
Yeah.
It would have happened, guaranteed. Like ideally, the fight should have been stopped.
What
around
round was it?
It was round 7.
Yeah.
Oh man, round
the,
7.
Like, the fight should have technically been stopped at 7. The way that I felt it, because after he got the like second knockdown and like he was wobbling, and like the ref even deducted like Fury a point just because he wasn't breaking when he was telling him to break.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was going in for the kill, and the ref was stopping him from doing that, so they kept like prolonging it. But like I said, it was done around.
Oh man,
round
imagine if the body that Wilder caught was his own.
5. Jesus.
And he said he wanted somebody to die in the ring. I don't
Yeah.
know. That wouldn't have happened though. Like
Yeah.
whatever. I think Fury was just playing with him, man. Like
Yeah,
it
it
just
just felt
looked
like
like,
he was, like, toying with
yeah,
him.
it looked like he was toying. It looked like he was playing a game. All right, James, which story is this?
Number 3.
Oh yeah, the only one that makes sense. All right, Stevie, tell us about
Stevie.
story number 3.
Story number 3 is coming from Florida, so it's probably
always
Oh my God, it's always from
Oh,
Florida.
it's usually is a 6-year-old being arrested for. Would you call it like domestic violence?
Like if it was not a 6-year-old, it would be like assault.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
essentially assault. So what she was going off, she was kind of going off on like staffers. So
Mm-hmm.
she was like kicking, punching, and like just like fighting actual teachers and staff members, where they actually had to contact the local authorities to kind of involve and intervene.
They call the police for like everything over there though. Like anything happens.
To be fair, on like the teachers, like
Yeah.
let's just say they stop the kid and then they get a lawsuit from the parents.
Yeah,
Like
that-
it's,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
way
Makes
easier
sense.
to call the police and have them deal with it,
Yeah.
or call the parents. Like I don't know if the school try calling the parents first,
Just imagine like a little 6-year-old terrorizing the school.
but
Yeah.
I assume the teachers probably did the right thing about this, like
Yeah.
calling the police or the parents. Like probably should have called the parents
Yeah.
first.
Because I wonder
But,
if
like-
they actually have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But like it's the same either way. Like the teacher shouldn't be the one
Yeah.
trying to like obviously like
Oh, trying
protect
to
yourself.
like intervene. Yeah.
Well, if you think about it though, like, if somebody is like assaulting you or students or like posing a threat in some way, like it's a 6-year-old, so like how much of a threat it really is debatable. But like let's say if you were like 20 years old or whatever, and you just like if I was in like a university class, let's say, and like 20 something year old was like just got up and started swinging at people, like I might be one of the first people to like tackle them down, pin them behind their back, pin their arms behind their back, and like place them under citizen's arrest.
Jeez.
That is something that you could do while the police you wait for the police to arrive. But like what are you supposed to do with a 6-year-old too? Like honestly, I'd probably just like punt them.
Well, that's just it. Like everyone's so like kind of like gun ho about
It's a
like lawsuits
6-year-old.
and everything too. So like even if you probably would have like tried to, because you're not even allowed to like kind of subdue a child.
Yeah, like that.
that's-
What do
yeah.
you do?
Like, you-
you have like an unruly child. Like that's what I'm thinking. Like
Yeah,
you know,
you have to let
an
them,
adult
like,
you can
tire
subdue them.
themselves out.
Yeah.
Like,
How does the child tire themselves out? Like honestly, like I wouldn't like be the aggressor or
Yeah.
anything, but like you know, if a little kid, if it was bad enough that we had to call the cops on this kid, then
Yeah.
like you know, I'd like, you know, I don't know, like can a kid fit through the hole in my arm? Like you just
yeah, but
clamp them down and
that is like the question
stick
right
'em?
now of like
Like,
kind of what's
what are you
debate,
supposed to
because the main reason why this blew up so much is because the actual officer that was involved arrested the child and like put the child in like zip ties,
yeah.
and so
And like that officer is
That's-
on like
no they
administrative leave.
Nope, they fired him.
Oh, they fired him.
They fired him right after.
What?
Because in Florida too, before they could actually arrest anyone under 12, he has to contact his superior, and he didn't do that at all because within the body camera that was actually released, it showed him like kind of boasting about it, talking about he has like 6,000 arrests. The youngest child that he
what a
ever did
shithead.
before
What a
was like
dumbass.
7. And let's say he didn't tell his supervisor about the 7-year-old, and he did this just willy nilly again. So this is the second offense that he did.
Okay. Well, like that, like for a process or whatever, because I
makes
thought he
sense.
got fired for like arresting the 6-year-old, and like technically he did, I guess, but I thought it was like the actual arrest, like like it's a 6-year-old. Why are you arresting him? Because
Okay.
like like in the body cam video or whatever, like he put the handcuffs on her and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, like I thought that's why though. I thought it was because he handcuffed her, and I'm like, damn right, put handcuffs on that damn
Yeah.
kid. Like you know, you're throwing punches and stuff. Like yeah, scare the shit out of him a little bit.
Yeah.
Like let him know what happens when you hit teachers and like other students and whatever,
Yeah,
and cause
for
a
sure,
ruckus
'cause,
like
like,
that.
I wonder if
Teach
like
those kids a lesson.
because like this happened, I believe what they said, like this actually took place in around September, and finally now it's starting to come out with like light just because they
That
just
sucks.
now released the body cam.
But yeah,
But even I guess with that
it's
being
like a
said,
process thing.
what are they going to do with that child? Has this child been like
Juvie.
Well, no, has this child even been let's say like expelled or anything from the school at all? Can they expel the child now at this
They have a
point?
criminal record.
Yeah.
Like-
Why wouldn't they be? able to
She was
kill
like
him?
begging and pleading in that thing. It's like, please give me a second chance. Like a second chance to what? Not punch your teachers? Like, come on.
Throw some fists.
Yeah.
But
oh,
I'm kind of like in between. Like I see where they're coming from, and you can't really kind of push that type of like I guess authoritative punishment on a child just because anybody else will just sue you straight up, and like there's no middle grounds here. Like so what are you supposed to do? Like you can't touch a child, you can't hold them down because you're assaulting the child themselves.
man.
Like what are you supposed to do? And that's where like, oh, these guys have to supposed to get like retraining and everything as
that
well.
officer, yeah, because now I'm kind of like going over
Mm-hmm.
the article a little bit. I'm noticing like at first he thought she was 8, and then the teachers
Yeah.
said that she was 6.
Yeah.
And then this guy was like gloating. He's like he said that she broke a new record for being the youngest person that he's
Yeah.
arrested. Like, man, okay, yeah, like not for this particular incident, but just like for being an asshole in general. Like this guy totally deserves to
cake.
like lose his job for it. Like, you know, having like a record for arrests,
keep that in mind or just boasting about it.
that just like says right there, like for like crooked, right? Like
Yeah.
honestly, like if he actually does have 6,000, like it'd make you think like, maybe we should kind of like go look over these and like make sure they're all legit.
Well, because also too, like the thing that was caught on the body cams too, that was kind of like discerning was that the teachers were like, "Is arresting like this 6-year-old really necessary?" He's like, "Oh yes, yes it is."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Can you just put her in their car or something like that?" Like, but yeah, because like all when this was going on, she was like left in his car, and I was like, "Isn't there like a law about leaving a child in the car?" Especially too, I don't know, is it winter down there as well?
in Florida. Yeah.
Oh my God. So
Well, it's like
James,
September, so I don't know. Yeah.
James, what would you do if a 6-year-old was beating you up and you were at a grade school for some reason, but you were like 20?
While I was in high school, a kid did punch me in the balls, like a 5-year-old.
Oh,
And I didn't do anything. So I'm gonna say do nothing.
all right.
And
So
let the kid punch me in the balls. It happened, he punched me in the balls and left.
here's my prediction. James walks into a grade school, K through 8. All right. He's 22 years old. 6-year-old knocks him out.
Knocks
That's
me
it.
out. Okay.
Yeah, out cold.
But I don't know, like
Beats the shit out of him.
another thing here too is like how hard could like an actual child hit? Like, sure, if you get kicked,
enough to make James concuss.
I was gonna say, like, if you get kicked, like, it's the whole thing's just about like a respect type of dealio here. But like, if you get hit by a kid or kick, you know, you could just shake it off within like 30 seconds. If
You guys remember that episode of South Park where I think it was Kyle? He's like, "Kick the baby."
don't kick the baby.
Don't kick the baby. Yeah,
Kick the baby.
this is exactly what I'm thinking about right now. That would be my reaction. Man, I remember when I was younger, there's this one time, like, I was riding my skateboard, and, like, I was, like, 12. I was much taller than, like, these 20 kids, but they all started chasing me, and I had no idea where the hell they came from. I was, like, it was, like, they were, like, playing basketball or something, and there was, like maybe 10 kids, maybe, like, 15 kids, and they all came out, like, ran over to me, and, like, I was, like, bigger than all of them, too. Like, one-on-one, I would have knocked any of them out, but, like, 15 of them, oh, man.
Oh my god.
They, like, stole my skateboard, though. They just, like, they didn't, like, beat me up or anything. They just, like, kind of, like, punched and kicked at me, and, like, I had my hand on my skateboard, like, really hard, and then they just, like, took it, and then, I don't know, once I kind of lost grip of it, they all, like, ran away with the skateboard.
Did they also make you eat the white dog shit?
No, they, like, never even knocked me down. Like, they were all just, like, punching me.
That
like,
reminded me of Step Brothers.
Oh, my God.
And like, maybe you don't take that route when you're coming home the next time. Like,
Oh,
yeah, we'll
quick,
take a longer route.
quick interlude here. Speaking of getting hit in the nuts there, like James just said. So, did you guys hear about the pole vaulter that snags scrotum during jump? He did 18 stitches. Man, that is absolutely insane. And we all just watched the video here before we started recording today, and oh my god, I couldn't even watch it. No, this is number 2. This is just bonus.
Oh, just bonus.
This
Okay.
is just bonus. Oh man, that's like the most painful thing. Every time I think about pole vaulting, I always think like, you know, what if the pole like shoots up your butt or whatever, and like this got to be the closest thing to that.
Probably
Is this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, this is worse. 18 stitches on your scrotum. Like that must have been a huge gash. And get this, okay? The coach was what's the type of doctor?
Sort of O.
I can't remember what doctor they said. I thought it was like a urologist.
Urologist. Yeah. The doctor. His coach was a urologist, and so he takes him back to the office with like the cut scrot and just stitches him up.
Staples.
Good to go. Up. Like what?
Like I always wondered like too, because like there are cases where like people like actually like slice it in a sense where it's just like your testicles kind of descend out of it. I wonder if it was like something like that type of situation.
I don't know, but like watching that video, man, the way that they played that video back too, like they put it in slow mo and they like stopped it
they
like
paused
right
it.
when it touches the scrot, and then they cut to a different scene, and then it's like, and then like finally towards the end they show you the whole thing, and it's like, oh.
The thing here is like, when did you assume that he would have some type of like protection or like a cup on or something like that?
No, you can't wear a cup.
You can wear a
It
cup.
puts
like,
more weight on.
Yeah.
Hey, and you know what?
It's like-
No. If he was wearing a cup, it would have deferred right into the asshole. It would have.
ricocheted.
He would have shish kebabbed himself.
And to be honest, how many times did that happen? Like,
It happens quite a bit. Like there's
Oh,
so many
man.
videos like on just like YouTube alone where it's just like people are like,
well, that's because
Like,
that's the only one
smashing
people
themselves.
watches.
I'd be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the worst pole vaulter. I'd be so scared of that happening. I'd
Oh,
like
yeah.
javelin the pole as I hopped.
but like,
like barely make it
Yeah.
over. Oh man.
it was pretty like gory to watch. Like it kind of made all of us cringe as soon as we saw it.
I literally
And,
screamed.
they like literally replayed
fear.
it like 3-4 times.
I felt like it was happening to me. Oh man, that was ugh. All right.
He was just like a trooper though when he was giving that interview. He was like, yeah, it happened.
Well, yeah, his scrote was sewed back together.
Yeah.
But you probably had like lidocaine or something.
Man, imagine
like
that, eh? Imagine trying to explain to people like, yeah, I got this scar. Oh, let's
Hey,
see
you
it.
want to see my scar?
Jesus.
Puts his leg up on the wall and like just.
Oh my god. He's like, you want to know how I got these scars?
Arr. Anyways, James.
Number 2.
All right, man. I love the title for this one. Dick Pound, comma, actual man, comma, will decide if coronavirus cancels the Tokyo Olympics. TLDR. Dick Pound in the International Committee for the Olympics doesn't actually get to choose the case here, but the actual spread of the coronavirus will determine if that's a thing. But I guess he's the person who ultimately makes the call, but it's probably on the recommendation of like the CDC or something like that. This article is so dumb. It's an Australian website, I think. AU is Australia, right? No, it's just goat.com -au. The whole article is just puns. It's like he's erecting genuine concerns for the safety. While the truth about the coronavirus spreading is a lot to swallow, it even ends in a pun. They're like, hopefully the story wasn't too much trouble. See, that wasn't so hard, was it? Like they finished with the pun. Come on.
Well, because like the main fact here is too, it's just like the actual spread and like how fast it's actually spread into. I actually thought about that. I was like, man, like, is this actual like enough reason for them to kind of like postpone it or like prolong like the actual like Olympics to push it out maybe a little bit further? Because normally when does it start? Like in July, June, or something like that.
Oh, I really hope they don't cancel the Olympics.
So like if they prolong and push it out maybe until like maybe August or something, but it's the summer games or whatever. I could see it happening because like the amount of money and every resources that they put into it. Because like this is Tokyo's time to host. And obviously,
I don't know if they'd cancel it. Maybe it'd be like one rare occasion where they like skipped a year and then kind of like whatever. Because like, I don't know. I don't even know how Olympics work, like how ticket sales and stuff work. Because like when Canada had the Olympics, wasn't it like kind of
in Vancouver,
all over the place? No, it was Vancouver. Never mind. I'm thinking about the Women's World Cup. That was in like four cities across Canada.
No, yeah, because
I wanted to go see one of those games, but like. I was just like, I don't want to pay to go there and then just watch a game and come back. Anyways, one more thing about coronavirus in Italy. And like, I don't know how Italy is compared to here. But like here, we have like, especially in like Southern Ontario here, we have all sorts of people. We have like, people from the Middle East. We have people from Asia. We have people from the Philippines. We have people from literally every walk and creed. Like it's very diverse. Yeah. In Italy, I know that at some points at least, Italy has been like really xenophobic, and so maybe they don't have the same kind of like population diversity that we do here. But they probably do have some diversity amongst their population, regardless. But apparently, the mayor of Florence suggested that residents hug Chinese people to encourage the fight against the. I don't know why it's called the novel coronavirus now. Yeah. But that's just so weird because like, I get it. They're promoting the friendship between people in two countries, whatever. But like, imagine this happens like where we are, right? Yeah. Like there are a ton of Chinese people here and like, yes, maybe a lot of them are like from like foreign exchange students. Maybe there are a lot of like foreign Chinese exchange students, but like, you don't know that people are Chinese a lot of times. Like, you go up and like hug a Vietnamese person and like, dude, I'm not Chinese. Like what? So you get that confusion, right? But then also just hugging people like, there could be like somebody who was born here and has been here their whole life. Like imagine like a Chinese person born in Italy, like doesn't speak Chinese or any other language or anything, just total Italian. And then like you just going up and hugging them like
it's
like,
funny. So two things about this.
You're like discriminating like in like such a weird way.
Two things about this. I guess this movement that they're trying to do because right now they're basically just trying to say that you're more than just a virus. You're still human. And the second thing is, like China and like the Chinese don't take well to like public signs of affection at all.
I'm just like a bunch of like weird Italian people that you don't know, like trying to hug you. Be like an episode of Rick and Morty.
Like, haven't you ever seen that like those videos where it's just like people are like kind of like holding the same pole like in like a subway system, and like they're kind of just going up and up and up, and finally they kind of like touch hands, like hold hands.
It's like the worst thing that could possibly ever happen.
And all the Asians are just cringing because like it's like they don't.
It's in like Europe too. I think in like America, North America, it's like more of a common thing for like people to touch you, like shake hands and stuff like that. Yeah. But like in a lot of like European places
Yeah.
and also like a lot of Asian places. Like
Okay.
touching and like physical contact are just like not
Yeah, it's just
an
like
okay thing generally.
save that for like when you're in private or at home or something like that. Because like and like you now forcing yourself on random citizens, like especially Asian citizens,
Yeah.
just to hug them.
I don't know if it's a forceful thing or whatever, but at the same time, it's like, you know what?
Accept my hug.
Don't hug Chinese people. Don't hug anybody. Don't touch anything. Just like don't interact
Keep
with
to
anything.
yourself,
Just
man.
just
hands
like
in pockets and
put a
mind your own
bubble around
business.
you and like just be safe. Yeah, because like it has nothing to do with you shouldn't hug anybody anywhere for any reason. Because like they're trying to spread it. If anything, this is going to spread it. It's like, yeah, you should hug Chinese people, and it's like, you know what? One of the Italians with coronavirus that doesn't know it yet is probably going to, give it to a Chinese person. It's going to work the other way around, and the Chinese people are going to want to hug the Italians.
So kind of on the same story, as many probably know, like people who are like very advent with like YouTube, PewDiePie finally just came back.
Oh my God, yes.
Did you see like his like welcome back where he had like a box full of like those N95 face masks?
Oh yeah, and he just put like 50 of the face
And
masks
then
on.
he was just like sitting there because I think he got back for what he went on like a hiatus for like a month. I guess he was like in Japan for like a while because he like always wanted to visit or whatever. But
What are you talking about? Dude, he has a house in Japan. He goes there all the
Does he actually
time.
have a house in Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought he was just like.
Got broken into a couple of months ago.
Oh, gotcha. Because he came back.
Clearly not a true
It
PewDiePie fan. He doesn't
Oh
know
God,
anything.
no! Like I seen you watching him at the gym, and I like looked him up. I was like, okay, cool.
I was watching PewDiePie at the gym.
That's not poggers.
I was like on the elliptical machine, and I just popped PewDiePie on, and I was like, yeah.
No, like honestly,
this is the good stuff.
I think I've only might have seen like maybe 2 or 3. So
I ran
episodes of,
faster
like,
in those
I
15
know
minutes
who
than
he
I've
was.
ever ran in my entire life. No, I'm just kidding. It was a good episode, though. Well, you're on your way to being part of the 100 Mil Club.
Number
100
5.
MILF Club.
Do you watch PewDiePie?
Nope.
Oh,
But number 5.
Number 1?
he's interesting. I
Oh,
like
this is
him.
an honorable mention.
Oh, no, James. Honorable mention.
Get your shit together, James.
Yeah, you.
So number 1.
No, honorable mention.
Yeah, number 1 for honorable mention.
No, honorable mention. Okay, honorable mention. This one, some people will know this about me, but so the title of the article here: Mark Hamill wants Trump to pardon the notorious Star Wars Holiday Special. I love the Star Wars Holiday Special. Every year at Christmas, like Christmas Day, at some point, I will sit there and watch the entire Star Wars Holiday Special. It is like the best thing to have on. Especially in the background, like on like any other day, but like the Star Wars Holiday Special is like the most 80s Christmas thing ever. Like it's got like toys and this and that. There's like Aretha Franklin like giving a Wookiee a boner. Like, oh man, that movie is just so. It's so bad it's good kind
It's
of a
like
movie.
a bad acid trip, man.
Oh
Like,
man,
I
that
don't
movie
even know.
is such a good Christmas movie. It's like my favorite Christmas movie. I've ever since I discovered it was a thing when I was like 20 years old. For probably like the last 10 years, I've watched the Star Wars Holiday Special. But anyways, Mark Hamill. So like a little bit of history about the Star Wars Holiday Special was that like I think like I forget which company like approached George Lucas and was like, "Hey, can you do this?" And like he was like so busy with like production of The Empire Strikes Back, and then also like dealing with like the fallout or the aftermath of A New Hope, and he was basically just like, yeah, sure, and he like gave them full access to like all the characters. A lot of the leads like made cameos.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Mark Hamill, I know, was in it.
Like they only had like maybe like a little snippet. They only had like maybe
Yeah, it was like a
5
couple-
minutes, if that.
It was like a variety show style. Like it was like kind of like a scripted variety show.
One thing that I actually seen another obviously YouTube. He did like a fantastic summary of this, JonTron, and like he just ran this movie to like hell because like he got the
it's
whole
so
like
bad.
archives of because when he was doing his little like Star Wars trilogy thing. And he kind of like talked about like this whole little segment, and oh my God, it's the worst thing ever.
There's so much wrong with this movie, and like there's continuity errors, and like they kind of like
I've
make
never
up their
heard of
own.
this movie.
Oh, we gotta put this on
yeah,
after.
we're
So
gonna
you
watch-
watch like the first 5 minutes of it.
We're gonna
It's so
force
bad.
to watch it.
Yeah, we're gonna shove it down your
No,
throat.
it's on as tradition.
The only thing too with like Mark Hamill, one thing that might not get this part in. Remember when he went on this?
Well, it was
whole,
a
like,
joke.
Well, yeah. But I was gonna say, remember how he went on this whole little reading Donald Trump's Twitter in like his Joker voice? They're so good. Like he took like I guess like maybe 5 of them, and he was just like reading them all and like in the character of the Joker. For those who don't know, I guess he used to play the Joker in the animated Batman series back in the 90s. So yeah, food for thought.
I don't know if this is like factual. I think it's like one of the talking points about this though is that the Star Wars Holiday Special has only aired on TV like once. It was like one run and it was it. And then it was just gone forever.
They burned the tapes.
I can't believe how they got away with that. Because like even a movie like Spaceballs, right? Like, you know, obviously George Lucas had learned his lessons by the late 80s when Spaceballs came out or was like being pitched and whatever. But man, there were so many rules about Spaceballs. Like they had to do this, this, and this, and they couldn't like Spaceballs wasn't allowed to create or develop any merchandise. Even though in the movie itself, like yogurt opens up the merchandising stand and you know shows all this like crazy merchandise, right? Like the Spaceballs flamethrower and the Spaceballs action figures and this and that or whatever. And I'm like, oh man, I would totally buy a Spaceballs merchandise. But yeah, you can't because there's no like actual Spaceballs merchandise because it says like that was like the agreement Lucas made with them was like you cannot create any merchandise, even though they had original and unique characters and like everything just felt like Star Wars, but it wasn't.
Just the I just want a life size of Rick Moranis. That's it.
That'd be
life size doll.
Oh, off note, and then we'll go on. But Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with Rick Moranis is coming back.
Oh my god!
The SpongeBob movie is coming out soon. That's coming out. There's so much good movies. We're gonna watch the Star Wars Christmas special
right after.
I have at least 4 hours in my life in my future watching movies, and I'm so excited for it. Next story.
Number 5.
Number 5. Okay, this was my story. It's probably the funniest thing ever, and like it's so stupid, but like a Bachelor for seniors is headed to ABC.
For this, okay, I just want to start off. I wonder if they did a poll of their main demographics.
They did.
If it is just like elders, like older type of people, like let's say like plus 40 and up.
I have the answer for you.
The Bachelor shows of why this is a thing. Like,
so
my God.
So the producer of the show, I have an answer for you, Steven.
Oh, please.
The producer of the show. Man, and these are going out on Instagram, which is kind of like a weird place to call for this. It's like a casting call. It's going out on Instagram. I'm sure it went out in other places too, but like from the producers of The Bachelor, and it is like an off in the sunset, like literally the most stock photo that you could possibly imagine. Like picture a beach with a sun setting in the background and the silhouette of 2 boomers. Seemingly, actually, looks like they're having an argument.
Honestly, it just looks like a Viagra
She's about to throw
commercial.
fists. Yeah. Oh man. If you're ready for a committed relationship, apply today at seniordating.show.castingcrane.com. What? Senior dating show? Anyways, it said, so here's the caption for it. So not only there's like the regular caption, but then in the actual comment caption, it says, now casting a new show. If you or anyone you know who is 65 plus and looking for love, please pass this on. We would love to hear from them. My God. I'm not a big fan of The Bachelor, even though after watching this this preview in the video here, that show looks hilarious. Like at one point, apparently, like one of the bachelors told one of the girls that he loved her, and then she didn't love him back. And so he just like ran away and he left.
So he had a
like,
temper tantrum.
I'm so curious to see if like they got him back on the show or something. Like, I don't know. This show just seems like a bad idea overall. Like sometimes I have one girlfriend and if I even like talk to other girls, it's like a shit show or whatever. Like just bad things can happen, right? You gotta kind of watch yourself. And this guy, the Bachelor, it's like, you know, one guy in 30 women and like... What? And like they're doing stuff all the time, like, you know, in the glimpses of the show I have, like I'm pretty sure that everybody's like having sex in the hot tub or something like that, and it's like, all right, next, and then it's just like a lineup or whatever, and it's like you don't give them a rose and then they go away.
Yeah.
This show sounds hilarious though, because like just imagine, like, I would watch the senior edition of
I
The
could not
Bachelor.
care less.
Yeah, honestly.
Anymore.
We're gonna have viewing parties here. So like, imagine like instead of giving out roses, ladies, there's only
Nectars.
one more bottle of Metamucil left. Who will I give it to? Yeah, it's like, man. Yeah, so this whole show is sponsored by Viagra. Oh man, like there's already so many jokes to be had here. I could I'll totally watch this show just to make fun of it. Like they'd be the most meme worthy show. Like we've already hit like peak meme with like Baby Yoda, Baby Nut,
Baby Sonic.
Baby Sonic, Baby Slug,
Gary.
Baby Gary. There's all these babies, right? Like, what can we possibly do to raise the bar? Well, it's to
Old
listen to the trials and tribulations of old people on
Senior
The Bachelor,
citizen
seniors
sex.
version. Oh my god. Anyways,
Just one key point that I want to make, Shane, is if you have an erection that lasts longer than 4 hours, please contact your local physician.
local physician.
Oh, don't worry. I'll contact them in the DMs.
How long does it have to go down for? Like, what if it was like 4 hours and then you just like put power for like a minute and then you plug her back in.
I guess like the main reason for that is just like so it doesn't get like necrotic. So,
Well, yeah, you gotta
there you go.
gotta give it some chance.
but ooh, you know what? Also, too, is like another serious issue with that.
What?
Sickle cell
What the fuck are we? We're talking about the Bachelor elderly version, and he's like going over like, oh my god. Anyways, I am
you're
excited
canceled.
for this. Yeah, you're canceled. I'm excited. Oh, last comment before we go. I thought I heard the music playing.
Okay.
This article is great. It's from CNN, and it starts off with, "Okay, boomers,
Oh, yeah.
this show is going to be the next meme mine of the early 2020s." Man, I hope this is on soon. I'm gonna have to watch at least one episode.
Do you think this is actually going to sell?
Yes.
No, it's a TV show.
100%.
It's on like broadcast television. It's for free.
Oh man.
It's going to be
A lot of
hilarious.
people,
wait,
a
I
lot of people watch The Bachelor.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought you had an answer for my like. What polls did they do to kind of see like?
Oh
what
no, that's where they
demographic
were
they're
polling
piecing?
though.
Oh,
I didn't have an
gotcha.
answer to the poll, but yes, they are polling.
Okay. I'll give you some.
So the thing here too is like it's makes sense that they're doing like for elderly people or whatever, like they're kind of like raising the age of the people that you're going to see in the shows, because like young people aren't watching TV anymore.
Yeah.
Like on broadcast television. So like, these things, like when you put like The Bachelor on regular TV, like the people who are watching that are probably between a certain age demographic or whatever, and like maybe they just don't watch it anymore because like whatever. But you're not going to like put The Bachelor on and then like put advertisements on there for old people, right? Like, whereas this one, you're going to be able to like advertise directly to old people.
I wonder if this actually works if you're going to see next as like a Big Brother, but like senior citizen edition.
Grandchildren. What would that be called? Like young grandchildren, like technical support? I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, it's been Slice. Nice chatting with you boys. Stevie,
As always.
where can they find us?
They can find us at our Instagram handle at Hotline Hangout Podcast, followed by our Twitter handle at Hotline Hangout. Should you want to send us an information email of anything of some sort of what we should add on the show, you can always reach us out at hotlinehangout@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And did you say YouTube? You can find us on YouTube at Hotline Hangout. And James, where can they find you?
At Arquette MTG, but I don't want your pity follows.
At Twitter. And I'm at Chasso, link in the description. And Stevie, where can they find you?
Same thing in the description, of course, or at Hotline Hangout.
Oh my goodness. Steve's like one of those people who like doesn't want to be known on the internet, even though we post it every week, 2 weeks, but whatever.
I'm a local
Anyways.
celebrity as is, so please leave the DMs.
Make sure you make fun of them.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Hotline Hangout. See you in a couple weeks.